Hello everybody, my name's Savannah and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I will be telling you my favorite books of 2018. Now, I managed to narrow it down to 11 books, I'm pretty sure. Like, I could not just get 10 books, I'm sorry. I had to do 11 because I love these books so much and I'm forever grateful that I read them. Now, before we get on with the video, I have to go through my little spiel. These were books that I read in 2018. Not all came out in 2018. I just read them. I feel like this has been repeated throughout so many of these videos, but I just have to make that clear because I do not need any comments saying a certain book came out in 2017 or 2016 or like 2014. Like, I got it. Next, I have to say that none of these are rereads, otherwise we'd have a problem because I only reread books that I like a lot. Like, I love those books. So I'm pretty sure, like, it's self-explanatory if I reread a book that I really like it, unless I say otherwise. So yeah, it's really dark in here. Give me a second, please. I'm back. So as I was saying, none of these are rereads, and yeah, that's really it for my spiel. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, so I did my best to get them in order, but honestly, I love these books equally, so there's not really an order, but there is. But like, don't get offended if like your favorite book of the year is like number 10, because it might be for a lot of people. But I'm just saying that I love all these books equally and I think they're all spectacular. I just had to put them in this way to make this video a little more organized. So yeah, I'll just get started. So coming in at number 10 is a book that came out in 2018, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And so many people have loved it. And I was one of those people who loved it as well. Just not as much as so many other people, because otherwise this would be number 3, 2, or 1, but like I still loved it, just like not as much. So that's why it's the last book on this list. Oh, did I say number 10? I meant number 11. Whoops. But anyway, I love this book. It's just not the extreme love, but it's on a pretty high level of love. So anyway, that book is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Like I said, so many people have loved this book and have been raving about it, like I think before it came out even. And it's just gotten so much hype, and I think it's a really good book and I did enjoy it. I think the reason why I didn't love it as much as other people did was because I was rereading the Throne of Glass series like exactly as I was reading this. So like I was taking turns with the Assassin's Blade, I'm pretty sure, like with reading this. So I just put this on hold while I finished that, and I think that like took away from the story a bit, but like I still loved it a lot and I think it's a spectacular story, and I cannot wait for the second book because I need to figure out what happens. Is it bad I'm already forgetting what happened? I think it is. Like, I only just read it in August and I'm already forgetting it. Go me. I just know that I really did enjoy it. Next up, we have a book that is the conclusion to one of my favorite series of all time. I love the series so much, and you might think you know what it is, but you're wrong, because I'm just saying that book is coming. It's just not this one. But anyway, I love the series from book 1. I think it's spectacular. It's gripping. Like, I could not put the series down at all, and I love it so much. And the book that concluded that series is Immortal Reign by Morgan Rhodes. Fallen Kingdoms, definitely, I love that series so much, and I think I loved this book so much. It just wrapped up everything nicely, and I am just in awe of the series and I love it so much. I wish more people would talk about it because it's just so good. Like, I know it's like popular and yet it's not popular because it's like not talked about anymore, and I think it needs to be talked about way more because I love the series with all my heart. So obviously this book had to come in at number 10, even though it's like, it's a number 1, but for this video it'd have to be number 10. After that, I have a book that I was not expecting to love as much as I loved it. Like, I was thinking that it'd be pretty good, and like, yeah, like that's why I picked it up. But this book just took me by storm. Pretty sure that's the right terminology. And I think that's how you use the word terminology. Ology, biology, meteorology, cosmetology. I'm just making up words now, although I'm pretty sure that was a real word. And that book is Paper of Girls and Fire, man. And that book is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Niggin. Sorry. I love this book so much. I just flew through it. Like, I was like reading this during my reading slump, which I was talking about in like my Fall into Fantasy vlog, I believe. And this just kept me hooked. Like, I didn't want to put it down, but even when I did put it down, like, I was thinking about it, and that's always a good sign. And I just think it was so beautifully written and well done, and it's amazing. Now, just to be clear before you go read it, because like I'm obviously recommending it, there are triggers for sexual assault, rape, and like sexual abuse, so just be aware of that before going in here. But I think it's just amazing and I loved it so much. That's why it came out at number 9. This is very confusing for me because I'm used to doing things in like 10s. I have 11, 12. We'll get to that. The next book is a book that I have been wanting to read for so long. Whenever a booktuber mentions this or recommends this book, I'm like, yeah, I want to read it. It's just so expensive, and I don't get why. It's not even a big book. It's usually like $15. I don't understand why, because like a book this size is usually $10. So I was always waiting for the price to go down, and it never did. So it might have gone down at this point, but I bought a used copy. Anyway, the book I'm talking about also had the movie come out this year, or this past year. So that's what really motivated me to actually buy the book, because I was eventually gonna get it, eventually read it, but I couldn't wait any longer, so I picked it up. And that book is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I love this book so much with all my heart. It is adorable and fluffy, and it was perfect, and it's so easy to read. You just fly through it. I was obsessed with the entire trilogy. Like, I read it all at once, except when I finished this book, the second book still hadn't come in, and the third book had, so I was just waiting for the second book to come in. And when it finally did, I immediately got on that, but I was not happy when I had to wait, because I had thought it'd be in by that time, but it wasn't. So I'm just glad that it came in shortly afterwards and I got to read it like immediately. So I am just very glad I read this book, and I loved it so much, like I already told you guys, and I love the movie too, but the book is better. Okay, now we're getting on to the pile where I just could not put anything in order, so I put it in the best order I possibly could. I just love these books so much, it's so hard to put them in an order. So I don't know how accurate this is, like, it's me, I should know, but I don't even know, because I just love these books so much. So for the 7th book on my pile, I have Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I know, why isn't it more towards the front? I read a lot of good books this year, and I told you I was having some trouble figuring it out. So I adored Strange the Dreamer so much. It was fantastic. I cannot wait to read Muse of Nightmares, but I'm probably gonna reread this because I forget a lot. I don't get it because it's one of my favorite books, and yet I forget about it. And like some of these, for instance, To All the Boys I Loved Before, I read this in like August, and yet I still remember a lot of things from this, although it's starting to drain away. And I did watch the movie, so that probably helped. But some of these other books on my list that are coming up, I read it like a while ago, like after this, but I remember that stuff like crystal clear, and yet some books I just can't remember, but I know I love them. So I'm probably gonna reread this because I obviously love it, so it won't be that much of a hassle for me, and it'll remind my mind what's happening. So Muse of Nightmares, I'm not going, what? Huh? No! Wait, what? So I'm probably just gonna reread this. I loved it so much. Coming in at number 6 is a book that is pure magic and just fantasy. Like, this is definitely a fantasy book, and like, amazing. Why am I whispering? I don't know. I cannot wait for the 3rd book to come out because I need it now. I'm already kind of forgetting it, but not. Like, I'm forgetting the ending a little bit, but like, I remember a lot of things in this. Anyway, that book is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Oh my gosh, this book was incredible. I could not put it down. It was just, it was amazing. I think I like Caraval a little more than this one, but like not by much, and that's saying a lot, especially for a second book, because second books are like extremely difficult to follow up to the first good book. In most cases, not all cases, but like in most cases, it's kind of hard for the second book to measure up, but this one certainly did. I loved it, and I cannot wait for finale. It's coming out this year in like May. It seems so far away, but it'll be here before you know it, because we're already in January. It was just summertime, but I can't wait for it. I love these books so much, and I know some people don't, and I understand that, but I am definitely one of those people who loves, I cannot talk, these books with all my heart and soul, and I will never leave you behind, ever. Okay, so the next book is more like 2 books, but they're in a duology, so I'm counting them as one because I literally cannot pick which one I like more. And it's the Wrath and the Dawn duology. So we have The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger, both by Renee Ahdieh. These books I could not put down. I literally went to the beach with my family, and each time they were like, do you want to go to the beach? I was like, no, I want to stay home and read. Stay home as in staying in the place where we were staying. And I literally did not put this book down for hours. Either books, I did not put down. They are just so fast paced, and I know, like, I know there are problems with this duology. There are problems with pretty much all the books, so we're just saying my taste is not great, and I don't critically read, I just read to enjoy myself. So I definitely enjoyed myself with these books, and I think they were amazing. I know, like, not a lot of things happen with this book, like, I know that, and yet I was addicted. I don't even understand it. I think the writing is fantastic, and I know that people say it can be too descriptive or whatever, the words were too big or whatever, but like, I loved it so much. I think it was fantastic. Nothing's gonna change my mind about that. So definitely love these books. Okay, so we've reached the top 4, and I'm excited to show you because these books I love so much, and I was generally surprised about the 4th book on this list. Did I say generally? I meant genuinely. Obviously mixing up some words. So anyway, let me just tell you that book. It is The Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. I don't know if you remember me saying or not, like, I've mentioned it a few times on my channel if you've been watching me from like day 1 or whatever, but I love Jennifer Donnelly so much. Her writing it just captures me. She's written so many other things that I've absolutely loved, and this book is no different. I think this is my favorite book by her. It's an historical fiction book, and I loved the love interest, like the guy love interest. Oh my gosh, I need an Eddie right now. What's his last name? I don't know, but I need an Eddie just like him. He was sweet and adorable, and I love him so much. He's definitely one of my new book boyfriends, and definitely one at the top of the list. And I loved the historical setting in this, and how like Jo, who is like this supposedly wealthy, well, she is wealthy, but like this girl who has to be perfect and whatever, and like, you know, the typical historical girl in the old day. I'm probably saying that terribly, but I love how she just goes off to solve this mystery without caring. Well, she cares, but like she does it even when she's threatened, and it's just amazing. I love this book so much. It needs so much more hype so I can fangirl with some other people, because I love this book. We've reached the top 3. Okay, so number 2 and 3 can go either way. They're equal. So really it is 10 books. 10 places. They share a place, but for now we're just gonna call them 3 and 2. And I don't know how I landed at this conclusion, but yeah, we're just gonna stick with it. So my third favorite book of the year of 2018 was An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I love this book so much. Why am I singing? But I love this book so much, just like I loved all these other books. It's just super fast-paced. I love the Roman Empire aspect to it, and I love the forbidden romance because I like some forbidden romance. I think this book was so good. I remember I was at Applebee's and I finished this book. I just sat there like, oh right, so yeah, I was thinking about, like, I was doing the thing and then I actually started thinking about this book again. Whoops. But I just sat there and I was so sad I didn't have a Torch Against the Night, which I did read that, but it's not on this list because it didn't quite measure up to this book. But I still did enjoy it immensely, just not on this list. But I loved An Ember in the Ashes so much, and I cannot wait to read A Reaper at the Gates because I'm terrified. And my second favorite book of the year, it could also be An Ember in the Ashes, but for the purpose of this video, it is this book. And that book is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I love this book so much. Why am I singing again? I don't know, I just sing when I'm very happy about books, apparently. I love this world so much. Like, I've never read, like, the actual book by Lewis Carroll, which is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, whatever that is. Like, is it 1 book or 2 books? I'm confused. So, anyway, I've seen, like, the Disney movie, and, that's okay. But when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this world so much. All the characters I loved, and I got another book boyfriend in this. Just, oh my gosh, he is amazing. And this broke my heart so much, and I loved it, and I can't stop thinking about it. Like, this was definitely one of the first books I read last year, and I still remember, like, exactly what happens. So I'm happy about that, but, like, then again, not happy because some things happen and I'm not happy about them. But yeah. Anyway, this book was, I have literally no words besides all the other ones that I've already said were given to all these other books. This book I just fell in love with it. There needs to be a sequel. Even there should be like a prequel to this prequel, because it's like a prequel to Alice in Wonderland. Like, so there needs to be another prequel. It's like in this world. Can we get a backstory on the Mad Hatter maybe? Like, we got the Mad Hatter in here, but can we get like an even earlier version? Anyway, it was amazing. I loved it with all my heart. I think it's amazing. Yeah, so that's my second favorite read of 2018. Sort of. We still got this book to contend with. Okay, I'm done. And the last book, my favorite book of 2018. You probably already guessed it if you've been watching me for a while. I love this book with all my heart, and I am so sad this series has now ended. Guessed it yet? Probably. I just think this conclusion was epic, and I need more. I cried all over the last page. I was like sobbing because it was over. I'm gonna cry now. No, I'm not, but that book is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. My favorite book of the year. Almost 1,000 pages. I love this book. There's nothing else I can really say. Like I said, it was a great conclusion. The characters were amazing. I loved how everything resolved. Yeah, that's really all I can say on this book without spoiling it, because there are some things that go down in here that are pretty crazy. Go to like page 800. If you've read this series, or like if you've read ACOTAR and you don't mind like spoiling yourself in this book, go to page like 800, 801. There's something there, and I love that part so much. Anyway, those are my favorite books of 2018. I cannot wait to read more favorite books of 2019. I don't have any so far. Unless you count like the screenplays for Harry Potter and stuff, but I'm not really counting that because they were movies first. So. But anyway, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!